There are unique coffee shops all over the state, but how many are located inside a grain bin?
Great question.
Okay, thanks.
For the next segment of Structure Stories, reporter Brian Gnuse headed to North Platte, and he stopped by the coffee bin.
This unique structure includes two 18-foot diameter grain bins. There had to be much easier ways to build a coffee house.
I could have built probably 3 times the size of a structure if I'd have just done a stick structure.
Grain bins are obviously not super practical. How did you decide on this design?
Well, I was wanting to get a structure that was more of a country ambiance and country feel, and I seen a lot of the grain bins being restructured for homes and playhouses and stuff like that in agricultural setting across the country, and so I drew up a design to make a coffee shop out of the grain bins. There is a lot of complications that come when you repurpose a structure that in appearance they're round, but they're not, because they were used for storage of grain, and so every angle is different when you connect the wooden structure to the metal structure.
Billingsley said these grain bins came from a farm site near Curtis. They were about 60 years old when he brought them the 40 or so miles to North Platte. Sarah, the structure seems a bit like a gimmick to get people to come, but it sounds like it's working. Talk to me about some of the comments you get from customers.
It is. We have a lot of people coming in and they're just amazed what the amount of space that's in here, because from outside it looks fairly small, but we have actually quite a bit of room in here, and we get a lot of I'd like to make a house out like this. It's just not something that a lot of people see.
This location has diverted drivers and sent people for a cup of coffee from further away than made sense sometimes.
Oh yes, you know, I studied coffee shops and independently owned coffee shops. As long as you was offering the right products, they would drive as far as 40 miles, especially in the metropolitan areas. But we see people from out of state that make this part of their trip so they can come by and see this.
Randy, you own the Garden Glove Landscaping Company next door. You did your research and you said it made sense to add a coffee house to the property.
My wife and I would go to the Independent Garden Center show in Chicago every year so that we could be up on the latest trends for garden centers. And one of the things was putting coffee shops or something similar to that at the garden centers to make them a destination garden center.
It is a weird diversity of business, but it really does give you some diversity.
Obviously, like you see today, we got traffic and there's nothing happening at the garden center because it is seasonal.
Looking back at this structure and how you built it, it's a one of a kind.
It is a one of a kind. I wish that had been bigger yet. It seems like it doesn't matter how big you build it, you're going to fill it up. We started with an 8x8 kiosk in the garden center parking lot, and this was quite an increase in square footage when we moved over here, and gave us some options as far as products that we could offer.
We have hot breakfast every day. We offer lunch. We have homemade soups during the fall and winter, so that's a big draw for our lunches. We do paninis and wraps and some other things, so that's picking up a lot lately.
If you want to stop by the coffee bin, it's real easy to find just off Highway 30 in the northeast part of the city. Reporting in North Platte, I'm Brian Gnuse.
For business hours and the address to the coffee bin, find the story on our website at nebraska.tv.